Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of the YarnderWoman podcast. My name is Melinda. I am YarnderWoman on Ravelry and Instagram, and you can find the show notes to the podcast at www.yarnderwoman.blogspot.com.au. As always, I'm coming to you from Perth in Western Australia, and today is Sunday the 26th of April 2015. I hope you are having a great day or evening or morning or whatever it is you're doing when you're watching this. I've had quite a busy couple of weeks, but I'm very much looking forward to having an extra day off tomorrow because it's a long weekend here, because yesterday was Anzac Day. That's ANZAC, which stands for Australia and New Zealand Army Corps. So it's Australia's Memorial Day or Remembrance Day, where we remember the sacrifices made and the fallen from both wars and conflicts, and of course focus on peace being very important. So I hope you are having a great time. You've got your knitting or your drink or whatever you'd like to have, and let's go on and broach the subject. So this lovely brooch you will have seen last episode in my acquisition segment. This one was sent to me by the lovely Jana, who's Jana Nav on Ravelry and Instagram. And this comes from her hometown of Seattle, from North Rain, and they've got a website on the back of the card here, so I'll put that in the show notes. Jana also got Mum a lovely necklace of a similar design but in blue. So the company has a lot of lovely products. So thank you again, Jana, and everyone go and check it out. And I'll also show you the necklace that I'm wearing. Let me lean in. As you can see, if the reflection will go away, it says Tori, and on the back, Amos. So this is a necklace I got when the Tori Amos concert was here last November, and it's one of those split in half type necklaces like the Best Friends Forever ones, but it says promise I will be there, I think the whole thing said, which is one of the songs that Tori Amos did with her daughter, who is about the same age as Sophie, my stepdaughter, and Sophie has the other half of mine, which is very sweet. So we've got a lovely mother-daughter love. Aww. I actually have an FO this week, which is exciting because I haven't done a lot of knitting this past week, but the week before I did. This is one of the reasons it's good that I film every fortnight, because I tend to either have a really productive week and then a really slow week. So if I did weekly, sometimes it might not be worth it. But this is my finished object. It's the knit night shawl that I made for my little nephew, or my second cousin technically. And I think it came out really, really nice. This is using the YarnderWoman, not the YarnderWoman colorway. It would be nice if there was a YarnderWoman colorway. The WonderWoman colorway from Gnome Acres in the fingering sock. So it's 80-10-10 merino cashmere nylon. And I re-caked what was left just to store it nicely. Really great colorway, beautiful base. Really recommend Gnome Acres. I have a lot of her things. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think he's going to love it. And it's not as big as the one I made for my cousin, which is his mum, because I figure he's only 4, so he only needs a little one. And with this one, I didn't do the picot bind off or edging, so I just did the number of increases that the pattern called for, but then left them as they were. So as I was showing you last week, there's little holes, can't really see them, but they sort of look a bit like yarn overs or something, so it's really nice. And I think I definitely need to make myself a knit night shawl, because this one's obviously a bit smaller, but even this length is good just for something casual and cooler weather, which is happening at the moment for autumn. And that's my only finished object, but I do have some good whips going, so let's go and look at those. Living in my little skein bag, so it's little skein in the big wool on Etsy, is something I showed you last week, which is my kitty vertebrae cardigan for my little niece. So I'll show you the back again. So, sorry, the sunlight is coming in really strong from this window. It's almost midday and I'm facing north, but it's really the only way I can film. And I usually film much earlier in the morning along this back wall, so I'm sort of sitting that way. So yes, excuse me if the colours wash out or anything, but you'll live. So what I've done on this is I've started one of the sleeves here. I'm doing it magic loop, as you can see, And I'm using the, who makes these? Knit Pro? Yes. They're the Cubics range, so the square needles, and these are supposed to be good for people with joint problems like arthritis. So I've got a few of these. But I'm finding that it's getting really stiff on the needles, so I'm not sure what I'm doing. I was discussing this with Sherilyn, who's Carbon Soup, on Instagram. I think you're Sherilyn on Ravelry. Oh, I don't know. We always talk by text. So she was suggesting maybe I need to look at whether I'm knitting too tightly. I'm also wondering if it's, the end stitch when you go on magic loop. So I'm going to have a look at that. My other thought is I might try doing them with DPNs because that might be easier. But that's the reason I haven't done too much more, because it was getting a bit annoying and taking ages, so I just put it down. But I will look at working out how to get this done so that I can go further with it. I was also not sure about how I'm going to replicate these stripes on the sleeve, because I didn't trust myself enough to get the position exactly right to have them that width on the sleeve, because I thought if it's just slightly out it'll look a bit weird. So I'm thinking I might at maybe elbow length do a thinner version, so still with that colour progression but thinner stripes, just to make it a bit of a feature and to not have to worry about it being exact. So we'll see how we go. So this yarn is Knit Picks Stroll Brights for the purple and the orange, and just the regular Stroll, which I don't have the tag for, in the peachy colour. So that's the Stroll Fingering Dogwood Heather, and this one is Hot Tamale and Vivid Violet. Hopefully more sleeves next time. Next up is my Pebble Beach Shawlette, and I'm loving this pattern. Look at this. This is knit with Berry Colourful Yarning in a base that she sent me to try out. It's the Merino Yak and Silk base, and it's got quite a tight twist on it, so it's actually really nice for shawl knitting. And this is the colourway that I named Themyscira, which is where Wonder Woman comes from. And this pattern, Pebble Beach Shawlette, is by the lovely Helen Stewart, who's Curious Handmade. And I'm really, really loving it. The way Helen writes her patterns, I won't show you because it's a paid for pattern, which was given to me by the lovely Kim, who's in Between Dreams. And she writes it in a great table, and it shows you what percentage of the pattern you're into. Really, really easy to follow and a very clever design. So this is going really well. I believe it's around 100 row pattern, and I think I'm up to row 50, but obviously the rows get bigger and bigger as you go along, as it extends out into a crescent shape. But I'm really loving this, and I hope to get some more done on it this long weekend. I even like how it looks on the back. Obviously when it blocks it'll be different, but don't you think it looks like craters or something, like Space Moon? Good one, Melinda. Yes. And this project is living in my homespun house bag, the mushrooms. And I believe this was my very first homespun house purchase. Very much enjoying this. And my third current whip that I'm working on is a pair of socks that only started last Saturday. And the reason I started them, even though they weren't on my immediate, in my mind plan queue, was that Sherilyn, whom I mentioned earlier, Carbon Soup, Sherilyn and I got together for a coffee and knitting, and we didn't end up being able to do any knitting because the cafe I chose I thought was going to be really quiet because it was quite early on a Sunday morning. A lot of the city shops don't open till about 12, so I thought we'd be fine, but it was packed. We had to line up. We ended up on this skinny little table against a wall. We felt guilty to take any more time up, so we just sort of quickly ate what we could and moved on. But we both had dessert for breakfast, which, that always makes up for everything. So, but my point in all of this is I'd cast on a pair of socks because I wanted to have something easy to take with me. Because the Pebble Beach Shawlette, it's a great pattern, it's very straightforward, but I didn't trust myself to be able to remember which row I was up to with a pattern or non-pattern row. And the sleeves on the kitty vertebrae, as I said, were annoying me, so I thought I just wanted to start a sock, something easy. So I started a pair of socks for my mum. They'll probably be for her birthday, which is in June. And it's using this gorgeous yarn. Let's see if I can get... No, that made the colours wash out even further. Anyway, here we go. Bit of shadow, but that's all right. This is White Birch Fibre Arts. I love the self-striping. And the colourway is No D Peach Schnapps. Don't want to say it out loud in case that's rude for some people, or for little ears. So this colourway name, you might think is a bit strange, but it's actually referenced from The Walking Dead, so it's one of her Walking Dead colourways. And it's beautiful blues, whites and greys. And I actually have a half object. I just finished this last night. And little ankle socks, fish lips kiss heel. And it's the Hermione's everyday sock pattern, obviously with changing the heel and making the leg shorter. I really love how the Hermione pattern works up on self-striping yarn. I saw Zena from Little Yellow Ute Craft had made, or is making, some socks for her husband, future husband, fiance. And she was doing the Hermione pattern on some self-striping, and I really liked how it looked. And I know there's at least one other person in the YarnderWoman pop culture cow doing the same thing, and I really recommend it, and I will definitely be doing it again. It just gives it that lovely bit of extra interest, because you can see on the bottom of the foot the yarn is just gorgeous as it is. I really love White Birch Fibre Arts, the striping, because she does, you know, sort of a gradient in each colour rather than just a solid stripe, and I really love that. But yes, I love the pattern and how it's turning out. And I've only done that much of the other. Now I usually of course do concurrent socks, but as I said, this week I just haven't been doing a lot of knitting at home. I've been getting home just exhausted from work and doing a little bit but not really. Whereas this one I had as my commute knitting, so I got a lot of it done on the bus and train this week, and then I finished the toe off last night. I really must get a cardboard cutout of Mum's foot, because I keep guessing her foot's just a little bit longer than mine. But this fits me lengthwise perfectly, so I hope it's okay for her. I'm going to get her to try it on when I see her tomorrow, and not tell her it's for her, obviously, and hopefully she'll forget she's tried it on anyway. But hopefully I won't have to rip out the toe and it'll be okay. I'm nearly ready for the heel on this one. So, ready to go. In fact, I think just a couple more rows and I'll be ready for the heel. Oh, sorry, that's really washed out. There we go. That's a bit better. So that's really cool. The bag I was using for the finished sock was this Hello Kitty bag, which is not even a proper, well, I mean, proper project bag. I mean, it wasn't sold as a project bag. I got this in the 90s when I went to Japan. And it's so funny, when I had this when I was with Sherilyn, she said that her sister has the exact same one from the 90s from Japan. So that's quite cool. That one. And then the other sock is living in this awesome Alice in Wonderland bag. That was made just for me by the lovely Julia. It's Minecraft 11. And it's got some great script fabric inside. So those are going well, and I think I'll, definitely get onto the heel today, and then these can be my commute knitting for next week, and then they'll get done. So look at me go. Mum's birthday isn't until June. I'm ahead of the game. I have some acquisitions. Sorry. I couldn't really resist because we had a really good discount code from Turtle Pearl Yarns running for a few months back, and I thought, well, you know, very generous of them. They did send me some yarn to review and sent some as a prize, which we've given away. And so I thought, well, you know. So this is something I got. You can sort of see why I had to get it, you know. It's beautiful red and black and sort of off-white self-striping. It is 70-20-10 merino cashmere nylon. Isn't it lovely? And it's called Miss K's Big Day. And it's, you know, as Turtle Pearl does with their great self-striping, it's in 2 separate skeins, all ready to go for concurrent sock knitting. So I couldn't resist. And then because, you know, with international shipping, it always makes more sense to buy more than one thing, because otherwise the shipping's really high for one item. I got this. It is 100% merino, and it's a worsted weight self-striping, which I've never had before. So again, you see, when I am getting new yarn, I'm trying to get things that I don't already have, so that even though I'm increasing my stash, I'm increasing it in different ways. Yes, I already have red stuff, but I don't have this colour red in self-striping, so in merino cashmere nylon. So that's new too. But back to this one. This is called Yuppie Love, which is funny. And, oh, sorry, there we go. So it's got sort of a, oh, if I get it on the camera, sort of a chartreusey green and a nice orange and black. So I figured this will make a good hat perhaps in great soft striping. So I haven't really decided, but I wanted to get a merino soft striping just to try something different. And then something else that I really have been wanting to get for a while, which is how I'm justifying this, is an order from Gail's Art. So I've heard of Gail's Art on many other podcasts over many years, and I think it might have been the Knit Girls. I think Leslie was knitting this particular colourway ages ago. It's graffiti and asphalt. And it's just gorgeous. So it's, you know, highly variegated, not quite speckle, but very small, short rather, colour repeats. This is the Wonder Sock yarn, so 75/25 in superwash BFL and nylon. And it's just beautiful. So you've got your greys for the asphalt and then all the colours for the graffiti. Gorgeous, and it's really soft. So I'm looking forward to knitting that because I haven't used BFL. I'm wondering if I've even used it before. Maybe I have once. I know I've got a few BFL yarns around the place, but this is really soft, so loving that. And then this one, this is my favourite, which is hard to say because the next thing I'm going to show you is also cool. Anyway, this one is Shiny Happy Base, and it's 50/50 superwash merino and silk. And the colourway is Goth Girl. How could I not? But look at it, isn't it beautiful? There's purples and silvery greys, and it is so soft. That silk, and you can probably see the shine on it. And, oh, as soon as I saw this, oh. So all week I've been, you know, when I'm supposed to be thinking about other things, going, what pattern shall I use for the Goth Girl yarn? So I'm still working on it. I think I definitely want it to be like a triangular shawl, I was thinking, because that way it can go over your shoulders or you can wrap it all around and the silk would be nice. So I'm still thinking, what did I come up with? Doesn't matter, let's not waste time while I try and remember things. But that's beautiful. And then the last thing I got from Gail's Art is also very, very special. So you might have seen she was doing some sock blanks with printed pictures on them. And I got the bunny one. So I'll just take you through. So it's got, there we go, that's the colours. Got all the gradients there, going all the way through. But then these awesome, cute little dancing bunnies. That's so cute. I'm actually not sure I'm able to knit them, you know? So what you do with a sock blank, you get the end here, and you can just knit with it and unravel and the colours will come through. And then when you get to the part that's printed, it'll obviously not knit into the print, it'll just be little flecks and speckles, which will look awesome, but I just don't know that I can let them go. So I actually even put it on and I was thinking, maybe I could, you know, graft the ends together and just wear it as a cowl. But I thought that kind of defeats the purpose. And then they're upside down anyway. So, although I suppose if I sewed it at the other end, does that make them come around the right way? Oh, there you go. But no, I should use it for its purpose, but they are so cute. So, that was my Easter present to myself. At least that's what I'm telling myself, and that's the story I'm sticking to. And that is the end of the acquisitions, so maybe that will be all for this month. There's only 4 days left to the end of the month, so hopefully that prophecy will ring true. Our Pop Culture Cal is going along really, really well, so it's running for all of April and May, so you've still got lots of time. There is a separate thread for chatter and for finished objects, and there'll be prizes drawn from both, so don't feel you have to complete your project to enter. Obviously you have to complete it to enter the FO thread, but you can still just have your progress going in the chatter thread and you'll still have a chance to be one of the winners of our lovely prizes. So use the hashtag hang on, I'm gonna have to have a look. YW Pop Culture Cal 15, on Instagram or Ravelry, and that way we can all go and check out what you're doing as well as look in the thread. If you're still looking for ideas, have a look in the chatted thread and in the finished object one. You can get some great suggestions. And British Bee Knits, and I'll put a link to her blog in the show notes. She's actually doing a mystery sock knit along with a Buffy theme at the moment. So if you want to do something fun, then go and check those out as another idea. And now let's have a look at some of the awesome prizes that we'll have for this knit along. In episode 19, I put some photos in of some of the prizes that we'll have, so you can go and check those out there. And I will show them again before the end of the knit along, of course. But for today, we can just talk about them. We've got a set of mini skeins from No Makers in the Avengers colourway. That is a fantastic prize. The colours are just spectacular, and you actually have quite a few in there, including the 3 new Avengers colourways. So definitely worth entering for that. We've got prizes from Hey That's Super, including a button with the dark knit instead of the dark night, which is very cute. SoFlo have donated us a $20 voucher for bags. DKS Art and Design are donating some of their wonderful pop culture prints. And Iron Maid, also on Etsy, is donating a Star Wars bag. So those are all the things that are up for grabs, so go and check out what you can win. We've got some discount codes going as well. Hey That's Super, from now until the end of May, you can get 15% off with the code YarnderWoman. SoFlo will be giving us a coupon code for May because she's doing some shows at the moment, so she wants to make sure that there's lots for you to choose from, so more on that soon. And Iron Maid is giving us a 20% discount. So all those links are in the show notes, and as well the, what have I called it? Discount codes for YarnderWoman viewers, I think. It's one of the threads in the Ravelry group, so go and have a look and check those out. Thank you very much to all our sponsors. They're all really, really great prizes, and go and enter to win. And we've got 2 other prize draws happening at the moment that will be drawn in the next 2 weeks when I record around the 9th or 10th of May. One is our 1100 member giveaway. Hello everyone. And that is a fabulous brooch from Madame Hibou on Etsy of Frida Kahlo. The prompt for that is to let me know what you would like to see on a brooch, any person or character, real or fictional. So go and enter from there. And we've also got the Date Night collection draw. So in episode 19, I reviewed the Elegant Economy Knits new collection, Date Night, and she very generously gave a whole copy of the collection to one of you. So go and enter there. Tell me your ideal date, and that doesn't have to be with a significant other. It can be with a partner, a friend, or yourself. And go and enter there. And again, that will be drawn on the 9th or 10th of May. Good luck, everyone. Spinning me round, first off I have to tell you, last night I saw the movie Paddington. So good, very funny and very cute. So when I was little I loved Paddington. I was a very big fan of the TV show. And when I was, how old would I have been? About 18, I had a Paddington t-shirt and I wore it all the time. And a little backstory to that, I think it was for about a week, my mum went away with my brother and my auntie and one of my cousins. So I was allowed to stay home, but I had 2 friends come and stay with me, so I wasn't totally alone. And during this time, my brother's pet axolotl developed some health problems. It actually jumped out of its tank. So, you know, not knowing what to do, I took it to the vet. When I told Mum that the axolotl had to stay overnight at the vet, she wasn't very pleased because that was quite expensive. But apparently there was a problem with its swim bladder, so it couldn't sink. It was floating out and falling. But the whole point to this story in the context of Paddington is when I got the axolotl to the vet, the receptionist said, looked up my details and said, okay, well, this obviously isn't Sooty, who was my dog. So she said, who is this? Who is with us? And the axolotl didn't have a name at that stage. And I went, I looked down at my shirt and said, Paddington. So the axolotl was named Paddington from there on in and was fine. Swim bladder was good. They had to stay overnight, had a good adventure. And your mum really wasn't happy, but very, very cute little story for Paddington, which I think. And I've definitely decided now I need a Paddington toy and to investigate whether I can get a Paddington brooch. And I need to bring Paddington back into the fore of my life because he's very cute. Check out the movie, I highly recommend it. I haven't been watching too many podcasts lately either, or at least the last week, because I've just been so busy. Plus I've been listening to the audiobook for my book club, which is next week, and I'm hosting, so I need to make sure I get the book finished and also figure out what food is mentioned in the book, because we do a thematic serving of food to match the theme. But one podcast I did finally get around to checking out is the Love Sock Wall podcast. That's Sarah. I have some of her bags. They always go like that on Etsy, so I was very glad to get one. I think she's up to episode 5 or 6, definitely 5. I'm not sure if she's done more since I've last looked. But episode 5 begins with this very funny faux movie trailer about second sock syndrome. It's very good, so go and check that out. I've also been catching up on all the back episodes of Happy Spider Knits, which I have mentioned before, but that's an audio podcast from Canberra in Australia. And I'm nearly up to her current episode, or as in nearly meeting, so soon there will be no more, but I have been enjoying that on my morning commutes as well. I've also been really loving making one big batch of food on a Sunday and letting that see me through for dinners for the whole week. So as I said, I've been exhausted getting home from work this week, and it's been great. I did a massive batch of vegetarian pasta sauce, and it was based on a recipe by Scylla from Very Little Twist and Stitch podcast. Go back, I think, a couple of episodes, and the recipe's in the show notes. So I did a vegetarian version because, as I mentioned the other week, I've gone pescatarian, or pesca-kangatarian as I'm calling it, because I'm eating kangaroo as well. But yes, vegetarian recipe base, and then I've been able to use that for meals for both myself and Damien and Dorian all week. So I've just added different proteins, used it with rice, with pasta, all sorts. So loving doing that, so I'm definitely going to do that again this week, and then just add different things from there. Now, I didn't mention Sophie in that because she's a little bit more fussy, so I do much more basic meals for her, but not in a totally new meal version. I've always told her I'm not going to cook a totally separate meal, but she often gets the deconstructed version of what we're having. You know, posh restaurants these days do deconstructed versions of dishes. So if I was perhaps serving a beef spaghetti meal, she would end up having a bowl of beef, a bowl of spaghetti, plain, no sauce, and a bowl of salad. Whatever, she's eating it, it's all good. I've also started watching Outlander, which I know I'm a bit behind a lot of other people on that. So we bought the whole first series and we've started watching it. All the knitwear is great, very exciting. Oh, actually on that, there was a lot of knitwear in the Paddington movie that the mum wore. Really, really cool. So, sorry, as an aside. So I think I'm up to episode 4 or 5. Damien's sort of waned on whether he likes it or not, so it might just be me watching it from now on. I must say I'm not obsessed with it, but maybe that will come in time. As I said, I'm quite early in the season. But I am really enjoying it, and I am wanting to watch more, so maybe the obsession will come. But yes, very much enjoying that as well. And with that, I will sign off. I think it's time for another coffee. I hope you're going to have a brilliant couple of weeks until we see each other next. Enjoy your knitting. Come and say hello on the threads. Enter the contest if you haven't already. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye.